Hey guys, Nathan Brendan Masters. I know a lot of you guys are drawing on your tablets, you're drawing on your iPads and Procreate or Clip Studio Paint, or if you're on your computer, you're probably using Clip Studio Paint. But if you're like myself, the program you're most familiar with is probably Photoshop. And you know, Photoshop is they're a subscription program, and I don't really like subscription programs. So the program that I tend to use is Pixelmator. And Pixelmator is a program that a lot of people use. So today I'm going to show you how to draw comic books in Pixelmator. This will probably only be one or two videos, and it's not going to be that long. I know this one's not going to be too long because this is just how to make panels. So let's just get into it. It's very simple thing with this. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your background layer. You're just going to take this and label it background. Your background layer should be white, just like you see this one. And then you're going to make two more layers. And one is going to be your blue line layer, and the other is going to be your drawing layer. So the top layer is going to be your panels layer. Then you're going to make your blue line layer, which is going to be right above your background layer. That's where you're going to do your blue line or red line or whatever color you use to do your original rough stuff in. You can even do it in black ink and just turn down the opacity. Now, your next layer is going to be your art layer, your drawing layer. And of course, this is where you're going to do your art. And you may want to make multiple drawing layers depending on what you do. You may want to separate your art from your effects and things of that nature. I try not to do too many layers if I can keep from it. You know, I really want to try to keep it here. So you're going to go in your panels layer and you're going to choose your paint bucket. Now, if your comic is black and white, you only have two options, and that's either black panels or white panels. If you're doing a book in color, it can be whatever color you want your panels to be. It could be red, blue, green, whatever. But for this demonstration, we're just going to keep with white panels. Now, you're going to use your marquee tool. Now, the thing I don't like about Pixelmator is that it defaults at selecting the whole page. So you have to go off and click off to the side and then click the marquee tool. So that's what we're doing. We're going to use the marquee tool and simply make these boxes. I try to line them up using the crosshair here. So I'm doing it and I'm holding down shift as I make each one so that it doesn't deselect the other box. Now, chances are if you're doing this kind of stuff, you know about these little tricks. You know, you hold down shift to keep selection and stuff. And if you don't know about them, well, you know about them now. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just holding down shift key, making these boxes. So you see how I'm lining them up. Now this works in Photoshop as well. I'm pretty sure this will work in the majority of graphics programs like this. We're going to go to the format drop down and use stroke with brush. Off to the right here, you select the color and size of your brush, which will be the color and size of your stroke. And the quick key for this is Shift Command B. So now you want to go to your quick selection tool. You want to have the new option selected, which is the default option. Now, the mistake could be assuming that since this is all selected, you don't need to reselect, but yes, you do, because this is for your lines, for your strokes. Now you're going to select inside of your strokes. So now just click on the outside area here to deselect. Now hold down your shift key because you're going to select multiple things. And anything that you touch with the selection tool will turn yellow. And when you click, it will select and then just hit delete. Now you're going to go down to your background layer and turn it off. And then you should be left with nothing but your panels. Now, if you click on your blue line or drawing layer, you'll be able to draw under these panels. And as you can see, you now have your separate panels and you can draw. Now, I have my selection tool set to sample all layers. This will allow you to select any of the panels on your panels layer while remaining on your current layer. And all you have to do is select your pen or brush and your lines won't be able to go outside of that panel as long as that panel is selected. Now, obviously, this isn't something you have to do, but if you think it would be helpful to keep you kind of constrained inside that panel, it's something you can do. Now, generally, I don't put a lot of work into the blue line layer, and you guys have seen me draw. I don't even do a blue line layer if I'm working on paper. I just do a very light pencil layer. I can't really erase those blue lines very well, even with, I have one of those black erasers that erase the pencil lines so cleanly, and even they don't work that well with the blue pencils. I just go ahead and use a very light pencil. For this, I just go into the blue line however I want, put the idea down, Right, for this, I obviously don't have any real ideas. I just want to draw something up. So, we're gonna draw this and pretty much call it a day. So I'm going to work on this top panel real quick and and draw some things. When I draw digitally, my stuff always looks horrible until it gets done. so so I'm going in. I use the Manga brush. I believe I got this brush off of Etsy, but you don't need to use it. You could use one of the standard brushes that come, or one of the standard pens that come with this, and it'll be fine. But this is what I tend to use. This might surprise some of you, but I'm not super comfortable using a monitor tablet. I don't even draw on my iPad. I've actually never drawn on my iPad as far as using it, something I was drawing to go in a book. I've actually lettered on my iPad before, and that was pretty nice. That was, I enjoyed that a lot. I have used a pen tablet before. I think some of you remember when I was doing that. I had the big, the Giano, I used to call it Giganto. It's actually the Giano, but it was this big tablet, also from Huion, I believe. They have a new one out actually, but I had the old one. Really liked that tablet. I liked that tablet a lot. But I ended up selling it because I was getting the iPad, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to draw all my stuff on the iPad. And I never drew anything on an iPad. I either do everything on paper, or I start it on paper and then scan it in and finish it on the computer. So I'm just now kind of leaning into doing everything on computer. So I'm going to jump into Wumbo Dream, and we're going to create a background here. And this is going to be a black and white line art background. I'm going to jump through a few of them here and see which one I like best. I'm going to play around with it. Now for this one, I'm not going to do too much, as this is just an example, but I'm just going to grab one and kind of fix it up a little bit and make it uh, kind of match up with the art. I'm going to drop it under the drawing layer. Now what I should do is make a layer over it and then paint in the white space, but I didn't do that. What I actually did was I painted that directly on to the AI layer, and that was a mistake. Now I'm going to fix that, but just very quickly, there's several ways you can do this. Now, this is the original image. And what we did for this was I did a Command I, turned it into an inverse image, but you have a replace color option on Pixelmator. You hit A and then you scroll down to replace color. You're going to select the color you want to replace. In this case, it's going to be black. And we're going to replace it with red. For some reason, blue doesn't really come out right, and red just works perfectly, so you'll be able to see it better. Plus, you can separate it from the initial blue line layer. Now, if you want to, you can decrease the opacity on it. Then you can draw over it and match it up with your style. Or if you have an anchor, you can make the whole thing red line and just ship it off to your anchor and let them pull it together. What I did for this one was just an invert color, and that turned it into basic black and white line art. Put it under my drawing layer, and I can fix it up when I'm coloring, or if I have a colorist, which I typically have, I'll let them fix it up and they'll pull it together with the colors. And this is how you do a very quick background with AI. If I was working digitally, I'd take pictures downtown and turn those pictures into line art, drop them into the image. Now I'll just do it, drop it into the AI, let the AI do the line art, or I'll just render a background if I want to do it like this. Typically, if I'm working digitally, though, a lot of times I end up letting an inker ink the stuff. I'll draw it digitally and then turn it into blue line art and then let the inker do their thing. So it's kind of like a, new school. I can't really say it's new school because this is what this is what is done in the industry now. People still pencil and ink. You can have a penciler who will do it on a computer and send it over to ink it. And sometimes they'll ink it digitally, like just on another layer, and sometimes they'll print it out and ink it that way and then scan the image back in, and that way they can keep their original inks and you can actually sell your inks because that original artwork is yours. So if you're still working on paper, there's an advantage that you have a secondary product. I think I wrote this song, I told somebody about this. I may have said this before. There's the advantage of the secondary product, which is your pencils. The penciler pencils, scans it, sends it to an inker. You still have your pencils and the inker still has their inks. Those are products that both of you can sell. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about how you're going to proceed. I know a lot of people like digital. It's very quick, but there's some benefits to the pencils. Again, this is coming from that business idea. See, people, the artists love that starving. Ooh, I'm a starving artist. Ain't nothing fun about starving. Ain't nothing fun about starving. And if you think it is, you ain't never starved before. And I'm not saying that I have, but it don't look like fun. I'm just putting it out there. I always have some stuff that I do digitally, and I always have some stuff I do straight to paper. I don't know how long it will be like that because I do like the speed of digital, but I got to get more competent in it. And I do like the paper stuff. I still have a ton of drawing paper around here that I do want to use. And I do like working traditionally. But getting back to this, I made a new layer over the AI layer, just like I said. And then now I could have used my selection tool, but I didn't think about it at that time. So I just started painting. That seemed like it was a lot easier. So I just, started doing that. And it worked out pretty well. So this is pretty much how you pull a page together in Pixelmator. I'm pretty sure there's other ways to do it, but this is how I do it. I have a program on my iPad called Comics Draw. I really wish they would make that for the Mac. That has little things in there to help you make, that have, each panel would be a layer. So, they do it a little bit differently. And you could do that here if you want to. If you want to draw each panel on a separate layer, you could do that as well. But I find this to be the easier way to do it. So you guys take it easy. Nathan Brandon Masters. Catch you next time. Hasta. Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through the eyes of a brand new life. It's so